Welcome to the Wine Elder. Today's wine is a Cabernet Sauvignon. It says Rockpile, but the winery is actually Mauritson Wines. This is their Rockpile label. It comes from the Rockpile Ridge Vineyard, which is on the Rockpile Road in the Rockpile AVA, just outside of Dry Creek. Rockpile used to be part of Dry Creek Valley. A number of years ago, it got separated out into its own appellation, and the Rockpile Road sits above the Dry Creek Valley. You go up this road past the reservoir, and it literally sits on this ridge above the reservoir at a higher elevation than the valley. The Rockpile Road up there is especially known for Cabernet or for Zinfandels, which Mauritson makes some of the finest Zinfandels from that road. But they also do some Cabernets up there, which is what we'll be drinking today. This is a 2015 vintage. So Mauritson used to just be farmers. They owned a lot of the land up there, and they would sell their grapes to other winemakers. And at some point, when Clay Mauritson inherited the estate from his parents, I guess grandparents, I don't know how many generations they were growing up there, he decided, why not make our own wines? And he started keeping his wines and making his own wine. Like I said, the Zinfandels are fantastic. I think some of the best Zinfandels on the planet from Rockpile Road that Mauritson does. So this Cabernet here, looking at it, it's very dark and inky. It has a nice, deep, ruby, plummy color to it. I'm getting kind of a muted aroma. There is some there, it's very subtle. You can tell that it's got an earthiness to it. Like you smell the farmyard in there, and the soil. Skimming out the taste as well. Very earthy, rich, deep, fertile taste to it. You definitely get those notes of green bell pepper. That is kind of the signature of Cabernet Sauvignon. This is very dry, very tannic. I would be hard pressed to drink this whole bottle by itself. It needs to go with some big food. This would cut through any steak, filet mignon. It would cut through beef. Go through heavy meatballs with bordelaise sauce with this. It's too heavy for lighter fish dishes or even like pork tenderloin or poultry. This is a beef dish wine. It's got a lot of subtlety to it, a lot of layers. It's very deep. It's very inky, but it is not over the top jammy. It's not, a lot of times you'll see Napa Valley cabs and they'll get way too big and flabby and they overdo it with the jamminess. This still has a lot of restraint and a lot of subtleness while still keeping the depth and elegance of a cab. I'm going to give this one, for the balance, I'll give it a 4. Could be higher, but I'm going to stop short of a 5. I'll give it a 4 for the balance, but the depth I'll give it a 5 because it does have a lot of layers to it. That restraint allows you to taste a lot of things more than just a big, heavy, tannic fruit bomb. That subtleness is what gives you those layers. So we'll go 5 on that. The finish on this, it's fairly long lasting, but not extremely long lasting. So I'll give it a 4, which is above average, but I'll stop short of being a very long finish to it. So we'll go 4 in there. Representation, as far as representation of a cab goes, cabs can be very unique and very terroir driven from where they're from. Since this is from the Rockpile, I'm going to score it as a Rockpile cab and not try to compare it to a Napa Valley cab, or not try to compare it to the Cabernets from Bordeaux. So as a Rockpile cab, this is a 5. This is extremely representative of what you find on that region, and they are fantastic, and it's a very unique alternative to the Napa cabs. So we've got a 4-5, 4-5, and overall flavor, I'm going to give this a 9. I think it's fantastic. I would buy this again. I've bought it in the past, and I will buy it again because this is delicious. It's one of my favorite ones. So if we've got a 4-5, 4-5, and 9, that gives it a total score of 95. So once again, Mauritson, you'll see them listed under their Rockpile label, Cabernet Sauvignon from the Rockpile.